Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the IFDC Countdown Show. I am your host, Barbara K. Emanuele, and you are live with me as we wait for the reveal of the two IFDC dolls from Integrity Toys. So, of course, while we wait, I thought I would start off by doing some reviews. And we would start off. Hello, person of interest. Please sign in and identify yourself by telling me who you are, if you can. I thought I would start off by talking about a completely different doll company, Mattel, and talk about their Inspiring Woman series. There were three dolls: Frida, Amelia Earhart, and Katherine Johnson, who was one of the inspirations for the film Hidden Figures. So let's go ahead and start talking about Frida Kahlo. And first I'm going to show you the packaging that she came in. The back panel is a shot of the actual Frida in a studio. In her studio, most likely, working. And it's an older Frida in the background with a younger version of her toward the front. Interesting thing about this doll. And hello, Andrea, how are you? Interesting thing about this doll. When Mattel got permission to do this doll, they asked the wrong side of Frida's family. Evidently, there are two sets of cousins. They were Frida's nieces. They both have some kind of control over her estate. One has it in the Americas, one has it in Europe. They asked the European half, which is evidently not as well respected as the Americas half, because the Americas nieces are the ones that she was much closer to. Those nieces violently objected to this doll because they said she was too pretty. So let me bring the camera in a little bit closer. And I can kind of see what they mean. This is a Frida that does have the unibrow, which was, originally some people were upset that it was missing the unibrow. Mine has it. And she looks more Selma Hayek than Frida. But, and then we can get into this whole conversation about, by the way, I happen to think Frida was a very attractive woman. So I don't understand the problem with her face. The problem, which I can understand people having, would be with the fact that Frida, oops, sorry. I was trying to see if I could go up with this. I can't go up. Oops, better try things. Sorry, guys. What I was starting to say is the problem is not that this figure, is pretty. The problem is she's completely able. And by that I mean she's not disabled. If you're familiar with Frida and her life, by her adulthood, she would be wearing a full back brace. Her legs would have braces. None of that is here. And I don't think, frankly, Mattel's ever made a doll that wears a back brace or anything like that. She is wearing a very rough cotton dress with no embroidery. This piece here, it's not a decal, but it's painted on. It's not embroidered. This necklace is a joke. Ditto the earrings. I understand she's not Silkstone, but they could have tried a little bit more with the costume. This is the skirt. Again, Frida did wear the traditional Mexican dress, so this is correct in that sense, but it's just the construction of it is leaves a great deal to be desired. Hello to our next viewer who has joined us. I'm just taking a quick look at the Frida Kahlo figure from the Inspiring Woman series. The dress is going to come off by Velcro. And again, this being, it's not playline. It's not supposed to be playline, but they're treating it very much like playline by giving it like the uber cheap jewelry and the very cheap headpiece. So yeah, it's not. Oh, and by the way, she's wearing Mary Jane's. Well, hi Vince. She's wearing sort of Mary Jane's, but like ballet slippers with the tiniest of heels. But again, this is not what Frida could have worn. Frida would have been wearing special boots that were braces, and if they wanted to, they could have just put her in a boot and made it look like a brace. And I think that's important. If she's an inspiring woman, I think it's important to talk about why she was so inspiring, besides the fact that she was a tremendous artist, a surrealist. She was a tremendous advocate for human rights and an activist in Mexico. She did all of this while being severely impaired by multitudes of illnesses and accidents. So there was an opportunity here to have a conversation about being attractive, having impairments, being able to accomplish with those impairments. And Mattel didn't have it. So boo for them. And then just to take the camera down again very quickly and to show you the back of the box and what it says. Barbie recognizes all female role models. The Inspiring Women series pays tribute to incredible heroines of their time, courageous women who took risks, changed rules, and paved the way for generations of girls to dream bigger than ever before. Born in Mexico City in 1907, activist, artist, and feminist icon Frida Kahlo was and continues to be a symbol of strength, originality, and unwavering passion. Overcoming a number of obstacles to follow her dream of becoming a fine artist, and again, would not have taken a lot just to say those extra words, what those obstacles were. Frida persevered and gained recognition for her unique style and perspective. With her vibrant palette and mix of realism and fantasy, she addressed important topics like identity, class, and race, making her voice and the voices of girls and women alike heard. The Frida Kahlo Barbie doll celebrates the groundbreaking achievements, heroism, and long-lasting contributions Frida made to the art world and for women. Her extraordinary life and art continue to influence and inspire others to follow their dreams and paint their own realities. And they have her quote, "I paint my own reality." So overall, nice idea, Mattel, but fail. I'm sorry to say, because you did not capture Frida as she should have been. So I'm going to put Frida to the side, and I'm going to bring out the next heroine, which was, so she lived contemporary to Frida Kahlo, dying young as well. This is Amelia Earhart, and I will show you her packaging in a second. But I think I'll start off by talking about her ensemble. This one, on and off, is a little better made. The trousers are supposed to be khakis, and they feel a little bit smoother than Frida's dress. But again, they go cheap very quickly. Her bomber jacket, though it has this very nice collar, closes with Velcro and the belt. And her ensemble in the back will also close with Velcro. And the boots, if you can I'll just pan down and come in. The boots are not spectacular. They also they're split in the back, supposedly for easy access. Now, I haven't heard anything about Frida's family I'm sorry, Amelia's family not being happy with this doll. It's not a direct likeness of her. It's obviously a Barbie with her hairdo. But it does have some interesting detailing. It does come with the early days of flight helmet. It is soft plastic, so it goes on her head easily, but it's not going to close. There's no flap for this to close. She does have some very nice goggles, which can go up and over her face. If you can get it. Oh, no, it cannot. Oh, that's nice. Well, it can and it can't because it's attached. Here, I'll use my thumb. It's attached to the collar of her jacket, so unless you cut it off, which I guess you can, you really can't leave them up here. But the goggles are pretty solid and well made, about as well made as you're going to see with any 1/6 scale figure. And remember that 1/6 scale is the play scale. I don't want to give her helmet head, but these bodies, Vince, are, and you're going to see it a lot better when I talk about the Katherine Johnson doll in a second. This is the fusion or the step between made to move and a really crappy play doll. And by that I mean the arms are completely posable and the wrists have a joint, but the legs do not. There is no movement in the legs. So this is, if you ever saw the Lieutenant O'Hara body from last year, the Nichelle Nichols doll, same body as that. By the way, Amelia does come with this one interesting prop, also known as how Mattel can really cheap you out very easily. It looks like this is going to be folded in fours. It's actually folded in two, and they just slip in this piece of cardboard to make it look like it's thicker than it actually is. It is a map, not of the journey she took when she passed away, but of a previous journey she took from Newfoundland to Ireland. So that is her accessory. And the back of her box reads, "Adventure is worthwhile in itself." The first paragraph is the same as Frida's. Born in Kansas in 1897, so she's actually 10 years, or would be considered 10 years older than Freda. Born in 1897, Amelia Mary Earhart exuded a spirit of adventure even as a young child. Throughout her career, Amelia courageously challenged the conventions of the times. She broke and set aviation records for women. She believed her accomplishments would prove men and women could be equal in jobs. In 1937, in what was to be a record-making flight as the first woman to fly around the world, Amelia Earhart and her plane vanished without a trace. Well, we have, this just in to the Barbara newsroom. We have the first pictures of the centerpiece doll. I'm going to move. Here it is. This is a centerpiece doll. It's actually being offered to me. She appears to be wearing a psychedelic dress with some kind of vest and a head wrap. Here's a close-up of her face. It's a blonde Barbie. I'm being asked if I wish to procure her, and this one I'm going to pass on. But just so you can just finish seeing it, she's wearing tights, and the fuchsia tights and fuchsia shoes with a very nice record turntable. I will return to the Amelia in a second. I just need to plug in an extra battery right now. So there we have it. Very quickly, we had the first reveal of the centerpiece doll. Now we're just going to wait for the convention doll and the companion doll. So as I was saying, Amelia's box goes on to, basically it's the same thing underneath, and this box is a photo of her plane. Not her, but her plane. Very nice photo of her, however, in her helmet and goggles here. My plan for this Barbie, by the way, is to have her repainted and to turn her into a Jackie with a little more posability than the doll I previously had. So, before I go on to the final Barbie in this collection, which I think will also answer a couple more of Vince's questions, do either of you have questions about the centerpiece doll? Which is also a convenient time for me to eat grapes. Good evening, person who just joined us. I just finished my Amelia Earhart review, and we had some breaking news from IFDC. First pictures. Well, this is what we're discussing, Rhea. Breaking news is I finished my Amelia Earhart review, the centerpiece from IFDC, which is a poppy. This is her full look. So we are, in general, discussing. Yep, it looks to be a printed multicolor psychedelic dress, fuchsia vest, and fuchsia tights and shoes. We have been discussing the Inspiring Women series. I talked about Frida. Well, mod or psychedelic, Vince. We talked about Frida and how stupidly Mattel handled Frida, both with the licensing from her family and the fact that this is a completely able doll, when they could have very easily had a real conversation about Frida and disability, or differently enabled. Last but not least is Katherine Johnson. She is one of the 3 women who was profiled in the movie Hidden Figures. She was a NASA mathematician and scientist. Her math got the men to the moon, and that is not an exaggeration. It is a fantastic movie. It's also a very interesting historical moment because, speaking of dolls who have this body type, Nichelle Nichols, the actress from Star Trek, was recruited by NASA in the very late 60s to go to colleges and to go to high schools to recruit persons of color to join NASA. I want you to think about that. Nichelle Nichols, who is an actress playing a space explorer, was recruited by NASA to go to colleges to recruit persons of color. Meantime, an actual woman, person of color, who was doing the work of NASA and could speak truthfully to the working conditions at NASA, never did this. She was never taught in schools. She was not part of any conversation. Katherine Johnson entered the public lexicon with the movie Hidden Figures. Explain to me how that makes sense. Anyway, so much to say and much love about this doll. Sorry, guys, I dropped. This is how frustrated I am. It's called Time. Is it called Time of the Season, which was by the centerpiece doll is Time of the Season, which was, by the way, a song by the Byrds. Yeah. Now, if I had a proper stand for this would work better. So as I was about to say, the Katherine Johnson has a really, I'm sighing because this is another great example of Mattel, what are you doing? On the one hand, she has this fantastic face sculpt. She's very pretty, very much keeping Taraji P. Henson. She has a very nice pair of glasses that do come off. They are not collapsible like other pairs of glasses that the Silkstones have had and then Integrity has done, that you can fold them. But it's really nice. But they are a solid pair of glasses. They're very nice. A little bit of detailing at, I guess I don't know what you would call these, the corners. I'm just gonna call them the corners. A little bit of detailing at the corners. Very easy to repaint this doll and turn her into Cookie. If you wanted to do an Empire doll. So, which is frankly what I'm planning to do with this doll. But then we get right into, oh, Mattel, you're so effing stupid. The pearls are fake. They couldn't it's not like they don't make pearls by the cajillions anyway. Who left? Somebody left. Anyway, it's not like you couldn't make pearls by the cajillions and actually just give her real pearls. No, they have to go with the cheapy plastic. She does have an ID badge. And what looks suspiciously like an octopus or a squid, but is supposed to really be a rocket, is the detailing on her collar. And Vince, I think you can see a little bit better here what I was saying about the arms. The arms are she's not even wearing underwear, God forbid. There's no her knee, there's no joint at the knee. She's got on really cheap heels. It's a nice dress, but again, it's that same rougher cotton. No knee articulation on all three. All three dolls that I've been talking about so far do not have knee articulation. So this is not made to move bodies. This is the hybrid between really cheap playline with no articulation and this doll that has upper body articulation. I am too, but as I'm talking about on the back of Frida's packaging, but they dropped the ball. And as I also pointed out, they asked the wrong side of Frida's family for permission to do this doll, which is why they had to pull it from the market in certain places. And of course, this being cheapo Mattel, these dolls are about $30 each. But here's the thing, these dolls were supposedly just a step above Playline. They were a little bit more collectible, supposedly. So who knows with them. So what I'm going to do now that we've taken a look at her, I'm going to take away the ladies. And the second part of tonight's review is going to be measuring. I have a tape measure, and we're going to take a look at this Mattel body, since I have her ready and able. And we're going to talk about what, how they differ in size between a doll like this, a doll like, and Integrity Toys. And yes, I know Integrity has many different lines. Just trying to think if there's a way I can cut this without cutting the dress. So this is going to get painful in a second, I think. I think I'm going to have to make an executive decision and cut the string. But as I was saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the dolls and show you what the lengths are by arm and by torso. So let's go ahead and start with Miss Johnson, as I said. This is the leg. You're going to see the leg a bit, Vince. So let's go ahead and start the measuring. Her torso, which I will measure from shoulder to the top of the hip, is 3 inches. Shoulder to the tips of her fingers are 4.5 inches or thereabout. And the legs on this version, which I will measure from foot to the top, from the hip to the top of the foot, is, hang on, I know, not in love with Mattel. The leg of this lady is just about 6 inches. So in 1/6 scale, she's got long legs. Okay, so we're gonna leave naked. Oh wait, there was one more measurement I wanted to take. As you can see, she has some pretty flat boobs. But if you were going to measure them, it's just about 5 inches around. Okay. So that is a Mattel. Now we're going to bring in the double stand from Integrity, and I'm going to try to do this, trying to think of like a rhyme and reason way to do this. So I think I'm just going to do this doll first because she's very different from the rest. This is Gem. I figured it. This is why I called it a fusion. Well, let's turn it back to Katherine Johnson. That's why I called it a fusion body. It's the same torso as Fashionista, with a little more posability in the arms. So this is the Gem body. So as you can see, she's a lot different, obviously much taller, denser than the Katherine Johnson Fashionista body. She's also got a heeled foot. This is not a flat-footed doll. So let's again start with the arm measurements. Her arm is from shoulder to tip of finger 5 inches. Her torso, from the top of the hip to the shoulder bone, is 2.5 inches. What would be her waistline is 3.5. Her bust line is 5. And the length of her leg from the hip joint to the top of the foot is 7.5. And since this tends to be a problem, the foot itself is It's very hard to measure because of the arch. But I'm going to have to say it's probably like an inch and a quarter. So that's gem. And that's the gem body. And as I said, it's very different from the other bodies that I have on display. So I'm going to step her out. And I'm going to show you 2 other bodies. I can't say this is the original FR body, but it's a pretty early Kiori. This is, I believe she was called something cool Kiori. So this is a very old-fashioned royalty body, and I will admit, excuse me, I dropped a few things. I will admit that is the FR1 body. Thank you, Rhea. This is the original FR body. So I'm going to put this up against a relatively recent incarnation of the body. So let me, before I put her down, let me get her ready to be on here. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to push this back and push this back and up. And you can see, I'll take Catherine out of the frame so she doesn't confuse anybody. So you can see we're talking about, just on the visuals alone, a much taller doll, a much more defined bosom, a very different torso. So let's go ahead and do the measurements. Okay. Kiori's arm, from shoulder to tip of her hand, which by the way does not come out. This is an original FL body, so the wrists are not interchangeable. Hers is just about 4.5. Okay. And her waist is 3.5. Her chest is 5.5. And her leg, from hip to toe, comes in just at 6. So this is the FR1. I believe this is a Eugenia, by the way, that I have comparison. Shoulder to the tip of her fingers is a little over 5 inches. Her bosom I'll give you her face in a second, Rhea. Her bosom is 5. And her waist is 3.5. She has an elongated torso. So from just under the boob to the beginning of her leg is 1 3/4 inches. Kiori, that difference is just an inch. So we're talking about a very different, and again, if you remember, we're going 1/6 scale, you're thinking, well, 1/2 inch here, how much of a difference? Well, 1/2 inch times 6, now you're talking 3 inches, that's a big difference. And also keep in mind too, decorum, is this decorum? And greetings to whoever just joined us, because we have a 5th person with us right now. What I'm in the middle of doing is comparisons of integrity bodies. I started out with a Mattel Fusion fashionista body that has jointed arms. So the last measurement we'll do with Eugenia is the leg. Her leg comes in at a whopping 7.5 inches. But she's going to have a much smaller foot. Her foot comes in just under an inch. And Kiori, oops. Eugenia, she just killed herself. No, I'm kidding. Kiori's is 3/4 of an inch. So just to show you guys again, the final visual one more time, how very different these incarnations are. The next 2 dolls that I'm going to compare are kind of sort of related, but not really. Let's find out what David Boutry has in store for us. And Chris Stockel. Chris Stockel first. This is East 59th Street. And let me just boost this stand up. This is a Poppy. This is Starlight Poppy from the most recent convention. Again, you have a more defined torso, but it's going to function differently. If you can see, there's more hip action in the East 59th Street than there is with the Poppy. And this is not Darla, by the way. This is an African-American Poppy. I just wanted to make that clear. And unlike Eugenia, the East 59th Street does not have a jointed torso. So the visual is they are similar in height, but looks can be deceiving. So let's go ahead and do the measurements again. And we'll start with Poppy. Poppy's arm is 4.5. Oops. Poppy just knocked out Constance. I think that's Constance. No, it's Evelyn. I have no Vitoise with that first generation body, so this is whatever generation body this will be. And this is a boobage of just under 5 inches. Oops, everybody collapsed. So let's take a moment to reposition everybody. So as I was saying, Poppy's cleavage is 5 inches. And the length of her I'm seeing you're asking Vince a question, Ria, and I think the answer is Victoire will eventually have the same body. I'm not sure if the first generation Victoire does. Because if you remember, she's been in and out for a while. So this, the torso from boob to hip is about 1 3/4. Her waistline is just about 3 inches, maybe a little bit over. And her leg is going to be measured a lot differently because this is, remember, Poppy has a flat foot, so we can go straight down. Her leg, if I go to the top of the ankle, which is what I probably should do, comes in just over 6 inches. But her foot will be very easy to measure because it's flat. So I can just line it up. And it comes in just under 1 inch. So let's go ahead, take a look at Constance. Constance, by the way, is the only Caucasian doll making an appearance this evening. Although, I don't know, what do we count Gem as? Guess we have to count Gem as Caucasian, though her hair is pink. So, her arm is like 4 1/4. Her bosom is 4 3/4. Her torso is 2 3/4. Her waist is 3 1/2. Her leg is just about 7. And her foot, which is, I can't get the knee to bend. This knee won't bend. Huh. Well, I seem to have a very interesting problem here with this Constance. I don't know if it's because I haven't tried to bend the knees ever, or this is a manufacturer defect. Oh, there we go. I couldn't get the knee to bend, but I just did without dislocating it. And her foot is 1/2 inch. So she's got very tiny feet. Well, her knee joints were very stiff, but I've had this doll for just about a year, and I haven't tried to bend her knees until tonight, so that might be why. So, yeah, she's got panties on. By the way, FR dolls will come with, even if it's like the cheapest of briefs, they will come with panties. None of the Mattels came with panties. I think it's even hit or miss with the Silkstones if they'll have panties, or if they're certainly not if they're wearing stockings. But even then, so we're 45. Whoops, I've been doing this for 45 minutes. So they're eating dinner, and I don't think we're going to get pictures until at least David's presentation. So what I'd like to ask you guys now, the 5 of you who are here, would you like me to show you anything else? Or the 4 of you that have stuck around, would you like to see other things? Would you like me to show you or have them stand side by side in comparison? Do you want me to mix it up a little bit? What two? You want to have 2 of them standing side by side? What would you like? You want me to debox another squint box? I don't have another Tiny Frocks to debox. What would you guys like? Oh, well, you gotta give me a hint, Ree. What do you want? What do you want me to debox? I could do Sean Connery. Anybody want to see the Sean Connery from Big Chief Studios? What's in the box right now are action figures. I have a Pablo Picasso, which would be interesting since we just did Frida. I have Sean Connery. And that's about the only 2 I can get to easily. Or I could debox the Squint Box miniatures. So any let's do Picasso or Squint. Let's do Picasso. So I'm gonna leave there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna take the ladies and bring them. Gonna put the stand over here. So the first thing you can see is that this is called Spanish Artist, and it gives his years, 1881 to 1973. So they're kind of cheating. They are acknowledging that it is a Spanish artist who lived in these years. He might even look familiar to some. This was the, this would have been the shipper if I had bought this alone. But when I go to Cotswold will ship the dolls several at a time. So this is the actual box. And it ends with the word Mivi. That is the company that made him. Okay. Going to turn him this way. Actually, I should probably do it like this. Actually, I have to. So it is Paisley. Well, I figured Edmonds would do that. Edmonds good that way. So this was, yeah. This may not have been such a great idea since I can't get the damn doll out of the box. Ah. We interrupt this program for some serious stupidity. It is not coming out. I cannot get this box to come out. Well, the good news is the ship's very soundly. There we go. All right. Ta-da! Whoa. Okay. So. Well, this is off to an auspicious start. There we go. So, let's get him on a stand. There we go. Actually, this one will probably do a lot better. Yeah, I can get him a little closer to the ground. Actually, you know what? I think we're gonna even... No, that's... the best I'm gonna be able to do is this one. Okay. So, this Spanish artist is Pablo Picasso. Obviously, this is Picasso much, much later in life. He is wearing what he wore by this point in his life, which was a t-shirt, a sweater, and pants, trousers. The trousers are a plaid print in various shades of brown and almost like a dusty mauve. And his shoes are brown. He does have feet, but in this case with the shoes have the peg, so you just peg the shoes right on. And this hand sculpt has him holding a cigarette. He does not have extra hands, so I cannot give him like non-cancerous hands, but then again, these look like a typical hand that I can easily switch out. Watch me cry as I do this. I don't want to force the joint, but I could probably switch these out. Interesting that you say that, because it does come with an easel. So I don't know. We're going to have to put that... I'm going to put the easel together in a minute, so we'll have to wait and see. The sweater feels very nice. Just to go back to the sweater. The sweater is V-neck. There's his white tee. Velcro to close the trousers. So I'm going to assume the shirt's also going to be... No, actually, it looks like the shirt you might be able to lift up and off, but we're not going to do that. So, he does come with an easel, which I will show you guys now. So, they do not have directions for how I'm supposed to put this together. So we will be watching me cry together as I put this together for you. So I believe the idea is this fits like this. Or maybe not. Yep, that fits in the back. That's supposed to be the stand. And a little higher up, you put this in. And it holds the painting. So it's not a particularly stable easel. And I'm going through the box right now. Like I said, he comes with extra feet. He doesn't come with extra hands. In case I wanted to have him, painting barefoot. Just gonna very quickly Google this and see if somehow I got cheated out of pieces. Well, the answer therefore is no. This is the figure. So, no easel. I mean, no palette. I've got something, I think, from Remint, like somewhere in Remint. And I would debox the Remints, but that's like 8 little boxes in one big box. So Pablo Picasso is a Picasso is a peculiar. How about that? So, I'm gonna leave you guys looking at some art. Get yourself some culture, and I'm going to try for one more. I'm gonna do a couple more deboxings. So let me go get some boxes. Okay, so we are going to debox some squint boxes. And since I also have here a 1/6 scale action figure and a 1/6 scale I have the 1/6, and I obviously have our figures here, we should be able to do some nice comparisons size-wise. And again, the squint boxes will always come in a box like this. Hello, Squint Box subscribers. We hope you enjoy this month's miniatures as much as we enjoy putting them together for you. A bakery tin filled with colorful macaroons, a real glass designer vase, scrumptious fruit tart. They do a lot of fruit tarts in these boxes. No kidding. And no, seriously, I'm being serious. Like almost every other box has a fruit tart in it. A parchment wall hanging and a Mother's Day floral bouquet in a basket. So here's the vase. And if I just put it, oops, that might not have ended well. I almost flipped you all off. This is the size. So if you see my whole hand, this is the size of the vase. This is the Mother's Day basket. I could see Vivisette could carry this. If you guys, Eugenia Vivisette could carry this. This is the wall hanging. So if I put it up here, you could see that this would hang like, this could work in a kitchen or one of our bathrooms. I'll leave that there for the size comparison. This is the tin. And it is actually filled with macaroons. And as I said, like, no joke, they do this a lot. The fruit tarts. The fruit tart. So I'm going to try to push the easel back. This easel was not terribly well made, so I'm not going to fight it too much. I'm going to bring the hands closer, and please don't be shy about the nudity. I'm going to bring in Evelyn, and I'm going to open up Evelyn's hands like this so she can receive. So that would be the tarts in her hand. That's not too bad. That looks like, you know, like that's like something, and it's colored enough that you could put that on her nightstand or in the bathroom and it would work just as well. This is how the basket looks in her hands. A little small, but still very nice. Who's still here? I see there's 2 people here. Can you just let me know who's here? Never heard of Squint Box. Thanks, Vince. Squint Box, I guess it was because I'm always hunting. I'm always hunting for miniatures. I saw them on Facebook. They do have a Facebook page. The problem with Squint Box is, sometimes you can get lucky, and you will have figures that you will have miniatures that work in the 1/6. And sometimes you will have pieces that are just entirely too small. This box, everything kind of worked. This is the vase. So this is a case where this box, everything worked. And you could actually keep it in 1/6 scale. The next box, we'll see if that's the same case. The box I just opened was April, which would be in time for Mother's Day. This is the May box. And they usually ship toward the end of the month, by the way. And I'm deboxing the shipper off camera because the shipper obviously has my address on it. And the card that tells you everything that would be in it just like flew off in the wrong direction. So, eggplant. So this is actually pretty good because I can do a comparison in consistency. I guess oops. So these were supposed to be glued on, but as you can see, two of them have escaped. It feels more sculpted in clay than what Remit makes, which feels like plastic. And as you can see, no, I'm sorry, that was completely wrong. So these are the eggplants, and I guess it's about the right size. All joking aside, that's the right size. Okay, this is a case where you say, okay, this is entirely too small for upscale. I think this is supposed to be a lemon core. It's very small. So it's almost like, or if you wanted to use it like a neti pot. Here's another case where this is entirely too small. This is supposed to be a cheesecake plate. I got served that at a convention, I'd be like, you're too cheap. You cheap. So the next piece is a desk set. But again, well, I don't know. I was going to say right off the top, it's too small. Doesn't open. I guess you could put 1/6 scale pens in there. Definitely better for like a Kelly or what was the name? It's not Kelly. It's a collector's. She's a little bit bigger than Kelly. It's a collector's doll. Vince, you just made a dress for her. What was the name of that doll? You just made dress and shoes for her. What was the name of that doll? Anyway, that's who I think that would work best for. I mean, it's nice. It's definitely remint. This is also, by the way, the problem with remint. This is a remint attempt at 1/6 scale. And as usual, little darling, thank you. So yeah, Vince, yes to a little darling, like putting this on the little darling's desk. I would say yes. Oh, this is a mirror, and this would work in a bathroom. And and this is wood, or it's at least plywood. So this is actually really nice. And I'm trying not to hold it this way because I look like shit, and you will see the reflection of me. Yeah, this is actually one of the nicest pieces they've done. It's solid. Last one. And then I have nothing left to debox. I'm not going to try to do the Big Chief because if I couldn't open the Meavy box, there's no way I'm going to be able to open the Big Chief because they pack very tightly. Which Adele? What Adele are they selling? So here we go. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. I have that coming, by the way, not the Mattel version. The I want to say it's Hot Toys. Did Belle? She's coming. That's going to be my next loot crate from Cotswold. Ooh. Oh. That is supposed to be a bowl of ice cream or a dish of ice cream. And that is only a dish of ice cream if you're being forced to eat ice cream. Nobody should ever have to eat a bowl of ice cream that small. Just it's strawberry. 3 scoops. More vegetables, ladies and gentlemen. We have various peppers from Oh Kill Me Now, the red chili pepper, to the green boring salad pepper. And I would say this is the right 1/6. You could do 1/6 with that. Sorry, I just dropped something again. Oh, I'm bringing Frida in for this one. Excuse me, people. I have to say, if I was going to decorate, I could actually do like an art gallery with all the art that this company has given me. I think this goes nicely with Frida, don't you? And by the way, since I did promise you we would do this, Pablo, meet Frida. Frida, meet Pablo. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is an excellent place for us to end for the evening, because I got nothing left to share with you except my undying love and affection. But you two are so freaking awesome anyway. You get all the love and affection you need every day anyway. Any further questions, comments from the Peanut Gallery? Going once, going twice. Well, I think this is a good time for us to say goodnight. It is 11:47. And midnight is coming up. So the call sign I was given was midnight East Coast time. We should get the first words of the new figures. So thanks for hanging with me. Thank you both for hanging with me. And to everyone who will eventually be watching this on YouTube, thank you for joining me as we rock out June and hail in July. To my Canadian viewers, happy Canada Day. Justin Trudeau is the man. Please tell him to invade our country. For the Americans, happy 4th of July in the middle of the week, so we can't do anything except watch the fireworks. And for my international viewers, sorry about Trump. We're doing all we can. Peace out, everybody. Good night. God bless. Wait, somebody just showed up. Oh my God. Who are you? I'm about to sign off. At least let me, the person who just walked in, at least let me say hello and goodbye to you before I sign off. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing good night. Somebody just walked in, so I'm just waiting for that person to reveal themselves. Will the person who was just kind enough to walk in reveal yourself? Before we say goodnight? Nope. All right then. Vaya con Dios. Thank you for being here. And I will talk to everybody again real soon. I have no idea what it will probably be. The Sean Connery Big Chief Studios 007. We may have to do a Bond montage. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.